News Now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And tonight on Connecticut's news station, we are following breaking news. A church collapses in New London. We'll have multiple crews on the scene to bring you the latest information as soon as it comes into the newsroom. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. New here at 6, brand new video of that collapse just into the newsroom. Surveillance video from a nearby school just around the block from the church shows the exact moment when the massive steeple came toppling down.
Wow, look at that.
This happened at the New London First Congregational Church on Union Street, right next to City Hall. The building's owned by Engaging Heaven Church.
Now, a press conference wrapping up just about an hour ago. We have live team coverage in New London right now on all sides of this story. And right now, let's send it out to Fox 61's Lindsay Kane, who has the latest details from that press conference. Lindsay.
Hi, good morning. Well, good evening. I've been walking up and down the street speaking with business owners and witnesses, many of them telling me that this was like a scene from a movie. They say it looked like either an explosion or a bomb sending dirt blowing down the street. Of course, a lot of loud noises, people running out of their apartments and businesses to see what was going on. Now, you can see a very active scene this evening. There are cadaver dogs right now on scene going through this rubble just to make sure that no one is found within those rocks. Now, crews say they are very confident that no one was in the building when this happened. There was somebody in the building when the collapse first happened, but she was able to get out of the building safely. She says that to her knowledge, no one else was in the building, but crews, of course, have to make sure that that is the case. But business owners here on Union Street, of course, shaken up this evening after witnessing the Engaging Heaven Church collapse earlier this afternoon. Now, there are at least a dozen businesses near this church and apartment buildings as well. The owner of a barber shop on the corner of Union Street says his workers witnessed the rocks beginning to crumble.
We heard some noise. My coworker heard some noise. Everybody went outside and they seen rocks coming down from the building. It's a terrible thing to see that church collapse down like that.
Now, people in the community tell me this church serves breakfast to the homeless every morning, and this loss of this building will be felt here in the city. City leaders, again, are confident no one was killed in the collapse, but again, they're still sorting through the rubble. The building, they say, is a total loss. Now, crews are expected to be on scene here throughout the night just to monitor the structure of this building. They do plan to begin demolition as soon as they can because they need to take the steeples of this building down as soon as possible in order to avoid any further damage to the area, with a lot of nearby buildings in danger right now if that were to happen. But structural engineers are here on scene to make sure that it stays as it is until they can get it to the ground. So of course we'll continue to keep you updated on air, online, and on Fox 61 Plus as well. But for now, we'll send things back over to you.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. Let's check in now with Fox 61's Matt Karen for more details.
Well, this is just a devastating situation here in downtown New London. It's devastating not only for the loss of this beautiful and historic structure, but because of the people who worship and who call it their home inside. This church, the Engaging Heaven Church, is home to a vibrant congregation. At about 1:30 this afternoon, the roof just suddenly collapsed, taking with it the front facade, cascading rock and boulders onto the front lawn. If you take a look here, you can see that there are rescue crews, including cadaver dogs, that are right now searching pieces of the rubble just to make absolutely sure that no one is trapped underneath there. The mayor said that they have good intelligence and surveillance telling them that there have been no injuries, no deaths, everyone is okay. Now, there was a woman who was working the food pantry in the back of the church at the time of the collapse. She heard a loud noise, but she was able to make it out okay. Her name was Teresa. Now, this church does provide a critical role to the homeless here in the New London community, serving about 60 to 80 people every single day with meals. It's a gorgeous old religious structure that dates back to the 1800s. And just a moment ago, we learned more about what this church means to the New London community. Here's what the mayor had to say.
Nothing will be able to replace the hole now in our skyline, by the loss of this building. But the city is resilient. Don't forget, we were Benedict Donald burnt us to the ground 300 years ago, and we survived that. We've survived much since, and we will rebound from this loss.
And as we come back out live here to the scene in New London, we're looking at one of the two steeples that remains here at the church. And we're being told that as crews continue throughout the night, these will eventually need to be knocked down and demolished. So this structure is going to be a total loss, completely leveled. They have a lot of state support here, a lot of different emergency crews on scene. They're going to be looking at things like chemicals, like asbestos, lead paint, things that you would expect to be in a structure that is so old. But the mayor is suggesting today that perhaps there was indeed divine intervention at play, because this could have been a lot worse. Luckily, almost certainly, in fact, they believe no one was injured, no one was hurt, although they still don't know what caused this building to collapse. Those answers will be revealed in the days to come. For now, we're live here in New London. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, still lots of questions, but it is quite miraculous that looks like nobody was injured. That's incredible. Connecticut's news station will be following the church collapse in New London all night long. Download our free Fox 61 News app for the very latest information.
Now to day 10 of the Michelle Troconis trial, and that takes us to New Canaan Police Department on June 2nd of 2019.
That's when investigators interviewed Troconis for the first time. Troconis is charged in connection to the disappearance of Jennifer Farber-Dulos.
Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has a breakdown of that interview. Julia.
Here's the fact. Fotis killed Jennifer. Okay.
Inside the interview room, investigators questioning Michelle Troconis for nearly 3 hours, 9 days after Jennifer Farber-Dulos went missing. Troconis was facing charges of tampering with evidence and hindering prosecution.
It's our consensus that Jennifer is still missing, and we're very concerned about the fact that she may not be missing, she may be deceased.
Detective John Kimball, taking the stand Thursday, was in the interview room with Troconis that June day, alongside her lawyer. Investigators honing in on the day Jennifer went missing, asking what Troconis and her then-boyfriend, Fotis Dulos, were up to. She tells police she dropped her daughter off at school, went to the store, and had lunch with Fotis. Then,
Fotis called you, so we have to put $80 for you to clean. Yes. Okay.
That's a Farmington property Fotis was looking to sell through his company, Group. Troconis says that Friday she brought garbage bags, Clorox, and paper towels to that location. Police poking holes in her statements.
Your understanding was he was already at 80 Mountain when he called you?
Yes, he probably was, or he was in the house. That's what I don't know.
So that you can't confirm one way or the other where Fotis was.
Troconis continuing her timeline of that Friday night, talking about a trip to Hartford, where police say Fotis is seen on camera dumping garbage bags, with Troconis in the passenger seat. At one point, she's seen on video sticking her arm out.
What are you cleaning the ground for?
Because I put my gum and I threw it.
In the interview, Troconis tells police she thought they were going to Starbucks and wasn't paying much attention.
So he used me.
Isn't that what Fotis does?
Investigators continuing to dig for details.
The things you've told us, they're not right. A lot of the stuff you've told us is very true, and I believe that you're telling us a lot of the truth. If you're trying to protect him...
No, I'm going to protect him.
John Schoenhorn, Troconis' defense attorney, says the back and forth from his client was in response to police tactics.
She was trying to be as accurate as possible. Keep in mind, this is after being up for 2 days. She was arrested at 11:30 at night in her pajamas.
Schoenhorn also arguing this.
I would never have allowed a client whose first language was not English to subject herself or himself to hours of interrogation in a second language.
Prosecutors plan to show the video from the second interview to the jury tomorrow. We are in Stamford. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, so yeah, it was a foggy start to the day today. Check out this video of the scene outside Town Hall in Morris. Visibility limited for some time during the morning commute.
And for much of the morning, too, a little, damp out there. I thought my windows were dirty, but I think it was just fog out there. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with a check of what we can expect tonight, though. Hi, Rachel.
Yeah, we have more rain coming back in again, and in between now and then, more areas of patchy fog and mist, too. But I think the steadiest rain will hold off until after midnight, but it will continue into the morning commute tomorrow. In the meantime, it is incredibly warm out there. This isn't even the high temperature of the day. We climbed into the mid and even upper 50s. Now it is only 50 in Hartford, 55 for the New Haven area. Nothing significant showing up on the radar. Again, there might be a sprinkle here, a light shower there. This is the main area that we are tracking that will be moving in as we head through the overnight hours and into part of tomorrow morning. So especially after midnight, here comes the rain. Falling temperatures. It will be cooler as we head through the day tomorrow with temperatures in the 30s for most of the day. Again, most of the showers will be in the morning, so it will be a wet start. Check in with the Fox 61 morning show crew for more on that. But even though it's drier in the afternoon, we still see a lot of clouds, areas of fog and mist, kind of similar to what we had out there today. We are tracking the chance for some rain and snow this weekend. We'll take another look at what we know and what we're trying to figure out coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. New tonight, Attorney General William Tong is suing 28 chemical manufacturers he alleges knowingly contaminated Connecticut water and harmed public health.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst spoke with the Attorney General. She joins us in studio with more on these new lawsuits. Emma.
Sarah, Brent, this all has to do with PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. They're called that because they don't break down even with incineration. Now, Connecticut Attorney General William Tong is filing 2 lawsuits against companies he says are most responsible. Tong is targeting PFAS chemical contamination from 2 sources. A special kind of foam known as AFFF used in firefighting, as well as chemicals in manufacturing and everyday consumer products like food packaging, cookware, clothing, and more. State health officials say today nearly all humans have PFAS in their blood. Even a small amount of the chemicals can cause widespread pollution and damage, including increased risk of cancers, liver damage, and birth defects.
They marketed these products knowing that they were unsafe, knowing they posed serious health risks. They disregarded those health risks. They covered it up, and they lied to us. And we're going to hold them accountable. That's why we sued them. We're going to make them pay for the damage they've done. It's going to be tens of billions of dollars, if not more, and we're going to make them make it right.
And as you heard Tong say there, the state is seeking both injunctive and monetary relief. He's asking the companies to get rid of what he calls their toxic chemical stocks and compensate the state for past and future remediation and testing expenses. The complaints seek tens of thousands of dollars per day in penalties for what they say are widespread violations of numerous state laws dating back decades. Sarah, Brent.